Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into a story that, honestly, could change everything. We're talking about the standoff between the United States and Iran, which is getting more and more intense by the day.
I mean, it's the question everyone is asking, right? Are the United States and Iran actually about to go to war? The tension has reached this boiling point, and you're hearing threats of military action coming from both sides.
But, to try and stop things from going completely off the rails, there's a really critical meeting happening right now in Turkey. And this might be it. This could be the last chance to avert a really, really terrible conflict.
So let's look at what's happening. We're talking about urgent talks in Turkey. Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, he's flown to Ankara, and he has this massive job ahead of him. He's got to try and prevent a U.S. attack.
And Turkey's President Erdogan has even put something pretty bold on the table: a direct video conference between the U.S. and Iranian presidents. Now, to get a sense of just how big a deal that is, you have to remember, these two countries haven't had any formal direct talks for a decade. So yeah, this is a huge step.
Okay, so while the diplomats are talking, the military rhetoric is just getting louder and louder. Both sides are absolutely preparing for the worst.
The U.S. president has sent a really clear message of military readiness. I mean, he warned of a violent and extensive attack. That's not exactly subtle.
And this really brings home the human cost, The U.S. Secretary of State says there are 30,000 American military personnel right there, within range of Iranian missiles. That's an incredible number of lives potentially at risk.
And Iran? Well, they're not backing down either. They've been really defiant, broadcasting their own military strength and promising a crushing response to any attack.
And it's not just bluster. They're claiming to have built 1,000 new sea and land-based drones. That's a pretty powerful signal from Tehran that they're confident they can do some serious damage in any kind of fight.
So what would it take to actually de-escalate all of this? What does the U.S. actually want? Let's break it down.
Okay, so U.S. officials have put 4 specific demands on the table. They want Iran to hand over its highly enriched uranium stockpile and all uranium enrichment inside the country, put limits on its missile program, and stop supporting proxy groups in the region. These are, they're not small asks. For Iran, these are going to be incredibly tough pills to swallow.
Now, what's really fascinating here is that the conflict isn't just external. The pressure isn't just coming from the outside. Inside Iran itself, the government is facing a really deep internal crisis.
The leadership is basically caught between a rock and a hard place. You've got hardliners demanding they stand up to America, but then you have this growing movement of dissenters at home who are calling for the whole regime to collapse. It's a real powder keg.
So this all brings us right back to those talks in Ankara. Turkey is trying to find a way through this incredibly complex web of demands and divisions. It's a tough spot to be in.
And even Turkey's foreign minister gets how incredibly difficult this is. He's basically saying, look, for Iran, these demands could feel humiliating. It would be really hard for their leaders to explain to their people. So his job is to find a way to make it, more tolerable.
So the key message from the mediators to Iran is this: you have to create trust in the region, you have to pay attention to how you're perceived. Concessions, even if they're painful, are pretty much the only way to avoid a truly devastating war.
So, can diplomacy actually cool this thing down when it's already on the verge of boiling over? Honestly, with military forces on high alert and these deep divides on all sides, the answer is dangerously uncertain.